The Wellston Public Housing Authority had been around for several decades. It was operating in receivership, but it was serving the people of Wellston. In 2018, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development decided it no longer wanted to keep the Wellston Housing Authority. Instead, it wanted to tear the housing there down.
We had a senior group that was meeting with St. Augustine, and they called me to St. Augustine Church to listen to the seniors and what was going on. Seniors had signed a petition thinking they were going to get their homes remodeled and rehab, but the petition was saying that they wanted them to be demolished and to relocate.
They started fighting to save their housing. They worked with people at St. Augustine, people at Legal Services, people with the City of Wellston, and eventually county officials, state officials, federal officials to ultimately save the housing in Wellston through a transition to private housing, but to save the housing for them so that they can stay in Wellston and be a part of the community where they want to be. So we're transitioning the Wellston Public Housing through a low-income housing tax credit project. The low-income housing tax credit program is the most important resource we have today for creating new affordable housing. And a very top-line description is that state housing finance agencies like the Missouri Housing Development Commission give tax credits to developers so that they can get equity to rehab housing. And so what we'll see is the public housing that the Housing Authority is now operating for the residents who are there will be transitioned to private housing on the private market.
It's about 186 units that will be rehabbed and remodeled, gutted out all the way through. It's about a $45 million project.
What we're doing in Wellston is creating a new development, a private development that has predetermined rent levels that are considered affordable. But in addition to that, the Housing Authority has committed project-based vouchers to this development where they are essentially attached to the units. Even if a rent is set at a certain level, it may not be affordable for some people. So adding a voucher to that guarantees that whoever lives there will not pay more than 30% of their income on that rent. So we can really serve very low income families, people with disabilities, seniors, by having those project-based vouchers attached to the low-income housing.
This would allow us to grow our population and bring quality housing to the community. Statistics show that when you have quality housing plus a quality community, you more have a better chance of being successful. Quality housing give you an opportunity to provide equity in your community. And so when you're upgrading the housing and you're building quality homes, you're building quality families. And so families should have a quality place to stay and lay their head nightly. And so not only that, it's the best investment that you can have when you're investing into homes.
So we're essentially guaranteeing that we're going to be bringing back 186 families to Wellston, large families, families with children, and providing them with stable housing, which can be hard to find in other parts of the community. So that's going to have an impact on the school district and on other social service providers in the area and on the footprint generally.